be brewing my new Houjicha tea. This one is very special, brand new. I got a few Houjicha, but something unique about this one. Part of it is the farm itself. It's one of the most beautiful farm I visited on my recent trip, and I learned that not all organic farm are equal. There are a lot of organic farm that I realize that on they are located close to other farm that is not organic. So it makes me realize when they are not 100% organic, I feel like the quality is not the same, right? So when I first visited this farm in Kagoshima, one thing that I noticed is the fact that there's no other uh, tea farm around. It's just them, and it was high elevation, about 500 meters, which is considered high in Japan. In compared to Taiwan, that's not high because Taiwan is usually about 1,000. But in Japan, 500 to 800 are pretty high. Um, and also just the air quality, the fact that it was in the middle of nowhere. So I had a good feeling, and I came and arrived pretty late, like around 6, 7 p.m. So the fact that they were still welcoming us, I thought it was pretty cool. And the father, it's a family of three, husband and wife, and like a son, like 16, 17-year old. Um, they're super welcoming and a bit confused because they never really have foreigners visited them. So I thought it's kind of like special that has a foreigner come to their place. So this is, I don't know if you can see it, but this is very, very good looking Houjicha. It has a leaf and a stem. And normally, Houjicha, they don't look this good. And what I mean by they don't look this good, usually they're like really inconsistent, very dusty. Sometimes they can even look prettier. That's just the stem. But then I realized when it's just the stem, the flavor can be pretty light. And if it's just the leaf, sometimes it can get really bitter. So this has both. But the most important thing, this Hojicha comes from a higher grade um, green tea that is picked during spring. And if it's picked during spring, they usually reserve only for their top quality Japanese green tea. And which is interesting because most people do not want to pay a lot when it comes to Hojicha. Hojicha is always a later harvest, and economically it makes sense. So it's kind of interesting because it's not about the money, I feel. I mean, they do charge me a little bit more, but part of it is you can tell that the farmer are very proud with this tea. Ooh, it's very, very strong and bold and very warm. It feels almost like a winter, almost like that that feeling of drinking a Chinese oolong. And normally, when it comes to Hojicha, Hojicha is not really my tea until I found something similar. So I found like about two or three this kind of quality. But as far as like organic, this is probably one of the best Hojicha I found. And you can use any temperature. You can use boiling and just heat it really quick and really, really hit you with this like deep roasted cocoa notes. Um, very, very warm sensation. It lingers forever. Right now I'm doing 175. So I recommend you to do both. Do low temperature for the first time and then crank it up to boiling after and see the difference. Because regardless what you do with it, it will taste very good. So with 175, you are going to steep this a little bit longer. Smell is amazing. And I only bought 2 kilo. So far, I released 7 tea. Out of the 7 Japanese tea I released, 2 of them already sold out. So definitely do not wait. And out of the 7, really only 2 that I promote hard. So really, if you love a good Houjicha, or if you've been looking for a good like a good roasted tea, I recommend to get at least a small bag of this. Wow. And be honest with you, the reason was I was suddenly obsessed with Houjicha is because I went to this Japanese restaurant and they have this dessert that comes with a cup of Houjicha. The dessert was good, but the Houjicha was really, really mind blowing. And it's like, wow, that was actually better than the one that we carry. And it tastes almost like for me, this one too, it tastes almost like a mugicha. I don't know if you're familiar with mugicha. Mugicha is like this barley tea, have no caffeine, but it wasn't. It was Houjicha, right? So I thought like, wow, that's what makes this Houjicha unique. It's like a combination of barley with oolong, like a dark roast oolong, and barley, dark oolong, even like cocoa, dark roast chocolate, dark roast coffee, even. It's very, it has its tiny bitter notes that you kind of have to appreciate because there's no sour note, there's no grassy note. Oh, and it's deep. A lot of hojicha is kind of thin and you can taste the water. Sometimes you have to brew so much longer just to get the flavor stronger. But you don't have this problem with this. And I brew it at lower temperature and it's amazing. One thing about this farm too, they're so confident with their product. Before even asking me questions about what I know, they serve me a green tea with boiling water. And they don't even steep it really quick. They steep it like 30, 40 seconds. And you might think like, oh, what is this farmer doesn't know what they're doing or something? But it's not. It's because they're so confident with their quality that they were actually serving me with boiling temperature and really strong version of a green tea. That's when I know that this farm is not the normal tea farm, right? Like in Taiwan and China, if they serve you something with boiling, I think it's pretty understandable, right? Bowl brew, farmer style. But in Japan, it's not that common. So when that's how they greet me, I thought like, oh, that's interesting. They are so confident with the quality that they're able to serve the green tea with boiling. Like Houjicha with boiling, it's still understandable, but not green tea. So this is why when I bought it over there, I knew it's gonna be even better when I actually serve it with lower temperature. And I was right. My only regret is I didn't buy more. And second brew, pretty quick, 10-second, 15-second, boiling temperature. You can even use like cold brew. It's going to be bold, but this is going to be satisfying for the summer. You know, I love the most when you drink a tea and the flavors just expand. And I wish I can say that with all my tea, but it's not. And the fact it's coming from a Houjicha, which is considered like cheap tea, it's kind of amazing. Like I wish a lot of Japanese oolong is like this. This is like the kind of Japanese oolong I wish I had, because I haven't found Japanese oolong that even lasts this lingering, lasts this long. So definitely a winner. Only 2 kilo. So if you watch this video, I recommend at least getting it as soon as possible. Next week, I'm gonna have a new event, which is a live tea tasting with a farmer that sent me a tea, fermented tea from Kagoshima on Wednesday night. Right. So if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, definitely go to the website tianwis.com and subscribe, because I'm gonna start emailing people the link, which is on my YouTube channel. He will be chatting with me at the farm. People can participate and join my video, ask questions about why they ferment, how they ferment it, what makes it unique. So get to know the farmer behind the tea that I'm selling. The tea itself is not available yet because they're harvesting right now. Fermented tea called awabangcha is harvested a little bit later. But if you're local, I might open up some seats for like 4 people to be able to join. You have to buy the ticket, but it will be worth it. There's like 3-4 different awabangcha. But anyway, that is a quick introduction about this dark roast Houjicha single cultivar, Kagoshima high mountain. Very, very interesting, very bold, strong, and yet it's still satisfying, lingers forever. Definitely give this tea a try. Thank you again for watching, and follow my channel if you haven't, and see you until the next video.